I'd like to call the January 23rd, 2024 meeting of Des Moines Parks and Recreation Board to order. Rebecca, will you call the roll?
Excuse me, Woodard.
Here.
Avila.
Here.
Pollard. Bremner.
Here.
Chido.
Here.
Doherty.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Lohmeyer. Millis.
Here.
Potter.
Present.
Thompson. Bill May.
Quorum is present. Can I just start by getting an approval of the agenda? I guess. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We're going to first just start by welcoming everyone. This is always the best meeting of the year, so thanks for everyone's time this evening. I am going to kick it straight to Ben and kick off the celebration.
All right, well, this is a fun meeting for us, as Andrea said. I want to point out our city manager. Would you raise your hand? We're here tonight because he's offered to double our budget, so that's what we're going to talk about for the first 15 minutes here, so let's start that. All right, we'll try that again later, Scott. But we're here to have a really good night. This is one of my favorite board meetings we do every year in January. It's not just the Park and Recreation Board, it's our annual celebration of volunteers. I want to start by thanking some really important groups here. First, I do want to thank our city council. Would you all just wave for a little bit to everybody over here sitting on the side of the room? All 6 are here tonight. And this is a really fun night. We've done this for many, many years now, but it's kind of cool for us to see Connie Bozen, our new mayor, because she came from this board when she was last on a board and commission for the city of Des Moines. So it's fun for some of our colleagues now to see her not only as the mayor, but our first woman mayor in the history of the city. So thank you, Connie. Next, I want to thank the Park and Recreation Board. There's 15 members on this board. They work really hard. They don't just show up on the fourth Tuesday of the night to talk about policy or fees. They come to our dedications. They use the parks. They use the trails. They use the cemeteries. They join our recreational programs. They do everything to help us. So thank you for all the hours you put into. You're part of our volunteers. Believe it or not, they are not paid to be here either. So they are technically volunteers. Next up, thank you to the Friends of Des Moines Parks. They're a great group. Our Friends of Des Moines Parks started in 2007, has been raising a lot of money over the last many years. In fact, I like telling the story to a lot of folks that in 2007, when they got created, they worked very, very hard to raise a little money for what we now continue to do to make sure every kid in Des Moines can get swim lessons no matter their ability to pay. They just had a board meeting, and there was, from 2007, when they ended their first year, with $3,500 in their bank account. There's now over $4 million in their bank account, and there's not a paid member that goes out other than their new executive director now that they can raise a lot of money. That all goes back into our park system, whether it's for kids that can't afford sports, it's trees, it's playgrounds, it's things that help our community. So, and also, especially exciting night for them is we have a new award. They're going to join us tonight. They're going to give out their first ever Partner of the Year award. So I want to thank them for being here tonight too. And then last, I just want to thank Callie Leal Courtright. You're going to hear from her. Many of you already know her because you deal with her on a day-to-day. She's why we're all here, because she is our organizer. It takes a great quarterback. She's going to be the first to tell you she's got a wonderful team behind her. It's amazing people, not just in her little team. It's a little team that pulls off all these volunteer hours, but she'll be the first to tell you it's every person that works in parks and recreation, the admin team, the planning team, all help her pull off this mission. Today I brought up a special thing that I want to recognize to me and to our staff and to our board. I know it's something that we all will never get tired of seeing. Up here behind George Davis and Sarah is the 2022 National Recreation Park Association Gold Medal. That's the medal, if you haven't seen, for the best parks and recreation department in the nation. You're judged on a lot of things. And the reason I brought it up tonight and what's important to me is the fact that everything that we do interweaves with volunteers. You can't win national awards without volunteers. You're going to hear a theme of that tonight. Again, they don't just do things like you might think in a park. They don't just rake leaves. They don't just show up to paint a piece of a picnic table or a playground. They are in every part of our operation. Lastly, before I hand it back to Callie, I want to share with you that tonight you're going to hear some inspiring stories. They're really inspiring. I love this part of the meeting. You're hopefully going to leave inspired too, whether you volunteer with us or anywhere else with the nonprofits in our community or in our faith-based community. That's what makes Des Moines great, is so many people volunteer in our community. Just for a moment tonight, at any point in time, think about what park and recreation system, your church, your nonprofit you really love would look like without volunteers. You'll see tonight the impact is thousands of people. Although we only get to celebrate dozens tonight, there are thousands of people that come through each year to volunteer that give tens of thousands of hours back to our park and recreation system. So tonight, I want to thank all those that can't be here that we aren't celebrating, but most importantly, I hope you love the story you're about to hear. So without further ado, Callie, all yours.
Good evening, Mayor Bozen, City Manager Sanders, council members, Chair Woodard, members of the Parks and Recreation Board. I'm Callie Layout Courtwright, Parks and Recreation Supervisor. Thank you for joining us this evening for our 2023 awards to honor our volunteers and community partners. Last year when we met, we were so excited to have just won the National Gold Medal Award, and tonight we gather to celebrate another gold medal for the year. First, I will start you off with this quote. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And our volunteers this year have said over and over again in survey responses that one of the things that they've enjoyed most about volunteering with us is our staff and how they made them feel. I like to call that crafting the experience. So a huge thank you to everyone on our staff who's been out there working hard to create volunteer experiences that engage and excite our community in a way that they want to keep giving back. It's an incredible honor to work with dedicated professionals and passionate people, and it's an honor to work with all of you and our volunteers we're here to recognize this evening. In 2022, our city manager, mayor, and council unanimously voted to support the growth of our volunteer engagement, including our Adopt a Park and Adopt a Trail program. We were able this year to fill a vacant field coordinator position and hire a new additional field coordinator, some of you met her outside, to help us grow and craft these new volunteer experiences, and grow it did. With the additional help, we had a 42% increase in the number of adopted parks. Rivers and streams provide recreational opportunities for families and are home to local wildlife. They're essential to the health and well-being of our communities. And in 2023, we were able to have more partnership events thanks to Iowa Rivers Revival sponsorships, their service squad, and organizations and partners such as Polk Soil and Water, Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, and Polk County Conservation. These additional litter events engaged more than 1,000 volunteers who donated nearly 2,800 hours to remove more than 9,100 pounds of litter from our parks, trails, waterways, and green spaces. Speaking of partners, we continue to work with our Friends of Des Moines Parks, and our volunteers were offered new opportunities. Taking care of our trails and the 1.7 million users annually on them is important. And the best way to protect our trails is through a process called fog sealing, which I'm sure you've heard of. In 2023, our planners offered a new way for volunteers to support our trails. By educating trail users on site, they were able to prevent trail and bike damage during the curing process. And thanks to help from our Friends of Des Moines Parks again, volunteers enjoyed a box lunch and a post-event free thank you beverage courtesy of Exile Brewing. Fun fact, for our spring transplanting volunteers, their average length of service with us is 9.5 years. Our city greenhouse offers warm respite in the winters, and our volunteers keep coming back year after year. Thanks to their help growing hundreds of thousands of plants, we had a successful spring. The plants then were moved out of the greenhouse, and hundreds of other volunteers, as part of our neighborhood flower program, were able to plant in our parks and on public lands throughout our community. Volunteers worked with our volunteer team and our parks team on managing our natural resources throughout the city. They assisted in our community gardens. They coached, led bird walks, and hosted many special events. Volunteer engagement was up more than 38.5% from last year, and after 4 years, this past year finally felt normal. It felt pretty good. We gathered and we laughed, we worked, we saw families and friends getting back together, 6,284 of them to be exact. Our volunteers donated more than 34,000 hours of service, valued at more than $1.1 million, and we are thankful for each and every one of them. And each and every one of you again. While we love and deeply appreciate all of our volunteers, I'm incredibly humbled and honored to stand before you this evening to celebrate this year's award winners and their outstanding contributions to the City of Des Moines Parks and Recreation Department. Congratulations to tonight's honorees. planner Aaron Graves and park maintenance worker Dan Heigl co-led a record-breaking amount of volunteer playground build days in 2023. Under their direction, 23 volunteers built Frisbee, Sheridan, and McHenry Parks playgrounds in August, September, and October. Graves' creative design skills paired with Heigl's playground installation and inspection expertise created a perfect union to support 3 back-to-back build dates. Together, they determined their volunteer needs, organized team workloads, prepared and coordinated staffing, and created construction schedules. Their careful coordination and on-site supervision helped each volunteer build day go safely and smoothly. Under their supervision, all the play components and parts were organized and laid out prior to the build day, down to the last bolt. The volunteers were appreciative of a well-organized and executed experience, and together donated 167 hours of time to the build day efforts. Additionally, thanks to the volunteer support offsetting construction costs, the city was able to expand the original designs and offer more playground features with the estimated $130,000 in cost savings. As Park Planner 3, Colby Fangman, says, and he put so well, successfully completing these builds in a small span of time requires unbridled initiative and leadership to overcome the adversity of these projects and the intricacies of each site and unique sets of playground equipment. Volunteers, when asked what they enjoyed, shared the awesome and knowledgeable staff that made me feel confident in what I was doing and were fun to work with, the excellent organization, and they enjoyed giving back to the community with a staff that was of like mind. They loved their jobs, and it showed. For their outstanding job working together, creating memorable volunteer experiences, and leading and coordinating a record number of complex construction projects, please join me in honoring Aaron Graves and Dan Heigl as our 2023 Volunteer Supervisors of the Year, helping You'd like to step up here? Helping present their award to them this evening are Councilmember Joe Gatto, Parks Manager Mike Gall, Park Superintendent Julie Hempel, and Planning and Development Administrator Daniel Calver, and Park Planner Colby Fangman. You guys might want to step forward just a little bit so she can get all of you behind. Yep. Here you go. Yes. Still arranging. There you go.
Yeah, squeeze just a bit if you can.
Turn sideways.
Like each other.
Aaron Graves would like to say a few words. Aaron, would you like to step up here?
All right, I didn't write anything, and I was told to keep it short by Daniel.
Not by me, by Ben.
No, it was by Daniel. Now, I am really honored to receive this. It comes down to, one, to have one of my coworkers nominate me. Colby, I appreciate you for doing that. But I wouldn't be standing up here without the team. The team, Parks and Rec, all of the divisions that helped before the builds, during the builds, and after the builds. I mean, there's so much work that goes into it, but also I wouldn't be here without Dan. Dan is my right-hand man when it comes to the playground builds. Each one of them was very distinct. We all work together. We all struggle with the instructions, the hardware, the heat, the cold, the weather. I mean, you name it, we all struggle. But when it comes down to it, we are creating something that is lasting for the city of Des Moines and the communities. And it's why I love what I do. It's also, I mean, it's reflected to hear what the volunteers are saying, but it's also, it comes across in all the staff members too, that we're there helping and they love what they're doing when we do these. I mean, it's nothing but camaraderie. We really enjoy it. So I do want to say thank you very much to the volunteer groups, the PIO office, engineering department and the Friends of Des Moines Parks for volunteering their time for Frisbee Sheridan and McHenry Parks. They were very successful builds, and thank you very much. Appreciate this.
Nancy Dunbar and Tony Hayes have been part of the Beaverdale beautification team who are dedicated to planting trees, native plants, and keeping their neighborhood parks beautiful. In spring of 2020, anticipating increased foot traffic from recent park and woodland improvements, Tony suggested the city update the Ashby Park floral beds. Nancy and Tony's combined years of experience in the park helped them select plants. Coordinating with staff, the two began bed improvements with extra donated plants and mulch from their home gardens and native plants from the city's neighborhood flower program. They filled holes and weeded weekly. Tony monitored the plantings, supplementing the city's watering with jugs of water from her own home. Thanks to their suggestions, right-of-way plantings, which caught a lot of blowing litter, were removed and new grasses installed, improving the streetscape. Nancy and Tony have maintained the Ashby Park flower beds for at least 8 years and have donated almost 500 hours. Please join us as we honor Nancy Dunbar and Tony Hayes with the 2023 Special Volunteer Award for their ongoing dedication to improving and maintaining their neighborhood park over the past few years. Truly demonstrates the meaning of community. Helping present their award this evening are Councilmember Chris Coleman, Parks Manager Mike Gall, and Park Superintendent Julie Hempel. Can you go take a picture? It's going to make you walk really. Turn sideways, squish in. Yeah. Did you get it? Okay. Congratulations again. Zakiya Jenkins, also known as Z, is inspiring. After her personal health scare changed her life, she became a health ambassador, teaching intentional movement and healthy lifestyles in her community. She recognized a need in Des Moines, and in 2023, she approached the Des Moines Parks and Recreation Department with an idea to improve access and provide a fun, new, and engaging aquatic fitness opportunity. She had a strong desire to give back and the perfect skills and expertise to provide free wellness programming for Des Moines residents. She secured sponsors so that each participant received a free t-shirt, a bottle of water, and a healthy snack. And Z said, I wanted to reach the Black community to introduce them to outside water aerobics as a way to improve community health. The program, which was designed for all ages and abilities, was pivotal in increasing the number of aquatic wellness programs. For her passion and commitment to improving our community's health and breaking down barriers, bringing new recreational opportunities to Des Moines, please join me as we honor Zakiya Jenkins as the 2023 Volunteer Instructor of the Year. Helping present her award this evening are Councilmember Linda Westergaard, Recreation Manager Janice Steele, Parks and Recreation Superintendent John Hagner, and Supervisor Amy Knudsen. Congratulations. There you go.
Got it.
Thank you.
Face to face.
Our volunteer-led cemetery tours expanded this year, and what was once a one-man tour operation has grown to 4 tour options and 5 tour guides, including volunteers Archie Cook, Jeff Cleaver, Kat Rankin, and Lorna Truck. Our longest-running guide, 2018 Volunteer of the Year, and Des Moines native Archie Cook has led woodland cemetery tours for more than 25 years. The Grandview University History and Education graduate shadowed longtime volunteer guide Gerald LeBlanc until taking over the guided walks about 10 years ago. Hundreds of guests join his tours annually. I'm sure many of you have been on them. Cook has also served on our Cemetery Advisory Committee, explores historical documents and cemetery archives, assists family with genealogy research, helps on the Woodland 175th anniversary event, and he is helping with the Woodland book. Jeff Cleaver joined us in 2021, bringing a Civil War focused tour. Guests can learn Civil War history in Iowa, listening to firsthand accounts of a few of the men who have served and are now buried in Woodland Cemetery. His tour illuminates the significant contributions Iowans made to the Civil War. Stops have highlighted stories from Wilson's Creek, Shiloh, Vicksburg, Sherman's March, as well as other engagements, including the experience of United States colored troops now interred at the cemetery. The stories are supplemented by historic photographs and Civil War relics, bringing the stories to life more than a century after their death. Cleaver also helped on the Woodland 175th Anniversary Committee and is helping on the upcoming book about Woodland Cemetery. Our 2 newest tour guides, Lorna Truck, retired librarian, and Kat Rankin, a Metro history teacher, brought a great new addition, a tour to share the often untold stories of Des Moines pioneer women and how these women shaped our city. These stories took years to research, but bring to light the influential role women played in Des Moines. Des Moines women lobbied for worthwhile projects and worked for many community betterment organizations, including the Home of the Aged, the first preschools, the first public art gallery, the first orphanage, the first free public library, and the first city plan. It's a lot of firsts. Together, they have provided hundreds of guests on tour, or had hundreds of guests on their tours in a much needed historical perspective on city cemeteries. They've dove into the city's past to highlight achievements of men and women that shaped our community. They promote civic pride through the stories of our parks, streets, and buildings that they are named after. The remarkable military sacrifices that so many in our community were willing to make, and the freedoms, such as women's right to vote, they fought for that we continue to enjoy to this day. For their passion, making history come alive and engaging our community in the restoration and protection of these historical places and stories, please join me in honoring Archie Cook, Jeff Cleaver, Kat Rankin, and Lorna Truck as the 2023 Friends of the Year. Helping present their award this evening are Director Ben Page and Cemetery Manager Ganesh Kampat and Parks Manager Mike Gall. Yeah, we're going to turn sideways, squeeze in. There we go. Thank you. Lorna Truck would like to say a few words.
I'd just like to thank the Parks Department and the Friends of the Parks for this award. And I'd like to give a shout out to the pioneer women of Des Moines. There's so many stories out there, and they did so much to shape both the landscape and the institutions of Des Moines. So I'm very happy to have the opportunity to tell some of their stories. And I'd like to thank my partner, Kat, who has also brought the stories to a number of students in our city, passing local history on to the next generation.
Designated a local historic landmark since 1986, and more recently designated a national landmark as part of the National Park Service's Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. Woodland Cemetery holds much of Des Moines' history. Situated in the heart of Des Moines, its many stories show the diverse beginnings and evolution of our community. From business owners who helped build up the city to governors, pioneer infants to veterans, there are nearly 80,000 buried within its gates. And from 2022 through 2023, the Woodland 175th Anniversary Committee, a dedicated group of 6 volunteers, worked hard to remember these stories by planning a celebration honoring the past 175 years of Woodland Cemetery in Des Moines. Donating almost 900 hours, they organized 90 volunteers, exhibitors, and educators to be stationed throughout the cemetery. Nearly 600 visitors crossed through the entrance on September 16, 2023, to enjoy a free day-long event. Visitors strolled through the rolling hills and stood under the giant oaks to hear from historians, reenactors, and descendants of people buried in Woodland. They learned of the challenges of travel in the early 1800s, were able to visit the receiving vault, saw one of the first electric cars ever invented, watched monument restoration demonstrations, and more. They donated their time, talent, and financial resources, including supporting the Morris Mausoleum restoration, funding development of a professional brochure, and securing golf carts to improve access for the event. The volunteer-led event was only possible thanks to the incredible passion of this committee. For their outstanding fundraising, fundraising, and commitment to honoring and remembering the stories of those laid to rest in Woodland, please join me as we honor the Woodland 175th Anniversary Committee of Mike Rowley, Jeff Cleaver, Justin Alice, Marshall and Julie Lynn, and Christine Bartley as our 2023 Volunteer Group of the Year. Helping present their award this evening are Councilmember Josh Mandelbaum and Cemetery Manager Ganesh Gampat and Parks Manager Mike Gall. Julie Lynn could not be with us this evening, so her husband Marshall will be accepting on her behalf.
I don't know. It's gonna be a tight.
It's going to be a tight squeeze. And following this, a couple of you have asked to say a few words. You can just come on up. Oh boy. Maybe scooch this way. Yes, taller in the back. Turn sideways. Squeeze in. I can see. Oh, you want you can. We're going to have a few words by Christine Bartley.
Well, I just want to acknowledge the members of the committee that worked tirelessly to make the Woodland 175 anniversary special, and to all the remarkable volunteers that were on hand to tell the stories of people at rest in Woodland, including an Eagle Scout who was there to talk about a Boy Scout. And thanks to Friends of Des Moines Parks who helped funded the volunteer t-shirts, and a very special thank you to Ganesh Gampat, who said yes to the idea of celebrating historic Woodland Cemetery's 175th anniversary. Thank you.
Bankers Trust is committed to making communities stronger. They know that means encouraging employee volunteerism and community involvement. As corporate citizens, they invest their time and money here, and they have been volunteering with us for at least the last 15 years. Throughout the pandemic, they found ways to continue to support Des Moines Parks and Recreation and safely engage their volunteers in giving back in our community. Masks didn't deter them, and neither does hard work. And as we've come back and began rebuilding, their support has grown by more than 79% between 2022 to 2023. Donating hundreds of hours for events such as Cash In, Trash Out, Creek Cleanup, Earth Day Trash Bash, Iowa's largest volunteer Earth Day event, and Yater Creek cleanups were just the start. Whatever our needs have been, they've been willing to meet them. They have also committed to 2 ongoing park adoptions in 2023 at Drake Park and Tower Park. Their volunteers come out quarterly, making sure the parks are clean and beautiful for all to enjoy. Bankers Trust shares that team members volunteer 15,000 plus hours annually and serve on more than 160 nonprofit boards and committees. We are incredibly thankful for their commitment to the city and to Parks and Recreation. For helping Des Moines grow and thrive and continuing to make a difference, please join us in honoring Bankers Trust as our 2023 Corporate Volunteer Group of the Year. Helping present their award this evening are Councilmember Carl Voss and Field Coordinator Katie Canton. Vicky Facto, paging Vicky Facto to the front. I know you. Vicky.
Vicky's a former park board member who also works here.
She tried to hide.
A legendary girl.
Got it.
Many of our community partners play a pivotal role in supporting our projects. We value and honor the relationships that we build with businesses, organizations, and individuals invested in the betterment of our community spaces. With that, I'd like to introduce Friends of Des Moines Parks Executive Director Sarah Lohmeyer for the presentation of a new award.
Variety, the children's charity, is dedicated to improving the lives of children who are at risk, underprivileged, critically ill, or living with special needs throughout Iowa. Their unwavering commitment has not only impacted lives, but has set a precedent in fostering a brighter future for our youth. For over a decade, Variety has been a pivotal force, standing side by side with the Friends of Des Moines Parks and the Des Moines Parks and Recreation. Their significant contributions have touched every corner of our community, from funding 2 iconic destination playgrounds, the Ashley Oakland Playground and the Riverview Park Playground, to giving away free bikes at special events and funding swim lesson scholarships and equipment like kickboards, lifeguard training devices, and life-saving AEDs for each pool. This year stands as a testament to Variety's boundless impact. With 800 swim lesson scholarships funded, a sensational candy drop event at Union Park in collaboration with Des Moines Parks and Rec, and the distribution of free bikes to deserving youth, Variety has truly outdone itself. The echo of their generosity resonates throughout, Callie. Resonates throughout the community, dropping pounds of joy in the form of candy and countless opportunities for the children they serve. The partnership between Variety, the children's charity, and the Friends of Des Moines Parks has blossomed since 2009, marking 15 years of shared dedication to helping kids learn the valuable life skill of swimming. The initial grant for swim lesson scholarships was a mere springboard that catapulted the Friends of Des Moines Parks into a dynamic era of enhancing parks and programs, proving that a simple act can lead to lasting impact. Board Chair Andrew McCoy underscores the significance of this collaboration, saying, Variety's commitment is critical in providing swim lesson scholarships to our community's youth. Their support removes financial and societal barriers, making learning water safety accessible to all. We're proud to partner with an organization helping kids and supporting initiatives that improve the lives of our most vulnerable populations. The Friends of Des Moines Parks extends heartfelt gratitude for Variety's longstanding support. Together, we have ensured that families in need have access to adaptive recreation opportunities, and most importantly, the life-changing gift of swim lessons. Let us collectively applaud the entire Variety, the children's charity team, for their unwavering commitment to helping kids in Iowa with our first annual award, the Friends of Des Moines Parks Partner of the Year.
Helping present their award this evening are the Friends of Des Moines Parks Board, and accepting on behalf of Variety, the children's charity, is Allison Hanner. Okay. And following the photo, Allison would like to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I will keep this short and sweet. Thank you all so much. We are so honored to be the first recipient of this award. We are equally as honored to play a small role in helping thousands now of children have the opportunity to learn how to swim. It's such an important skill, and we know that that will carry them for years to come. I would also be remiss not to mention our inclusive playgrounds, the first one at Ashley Oakland Playground at Ewing Park. That was one of the first inclusive playgrounds in the city of Des Moines. And then our most recent one at Riverview Park. So if you have not had the chance to go out to those playgrounds, I would highly recommend. They're so much fun, especially the zip line at Riverview Park. I have to go do it every time I'm there. Again, thank you all so much for this wonderful, wonderful award.
Sarah would like to remind everybody that this evening the Friends of Des Moines Parks are hosting a reception for the volunteer award winners. So if you have any questions about how to get there, you can ask our team outside on your way out. For more than a decade, Nikki Goodell has been a Des Moines Parks and Recreation volunteer. a longtime supporter of our city greenhouse as a transplanting in the tropics volunteer, she has helped grow thousands of plants annually, which are used to beautify our city parks, schools, and public spaces. In the last 5 years, she's expanded her volunteerism to donate time in municipal cemeteries with environmental education programs, parks, and more. In 2023 alone, she transplanted seedlings in the greenhouse, placed flags to honor our veterans for Memorial Day, adopted a block and helped maintain one of our cemeteries, participated in our new Bikes, Boxes, and Brews fog ceiling education and trail protection event, cut invasive brush at Grays Lake Park to upcycle for food for the Blank Park Zoo animals, and she completed her certification to assist us monitoring the health of our local streams. That was just this year alone. Nikki has not only given her time, but she has also shared her passion for parks with others, helping engage more volunteers in our mission-driven work. Her giving doesn't stop there, as she also gives financially, amplifying her community impact. She is a wonderful volunteer that we can rely on to help improve our parks, trails, cemeteries, and our community. For her continued dedication and commitment to helping us meet our mission, please join me in honoring Nikki Goodell as our 2023 Volunteer of the Year. Helping present her award this evening are City Manager Scott Sanders and Field Coordinator Rachel Handfield.
I could comment.
Congratulations. Mike Rowley has volunteered with the city officially for more than a decade, contributing thousands of hours supporting our cemeteries. Unofficially, his service and love of the cemetery spans more than 6 decades. A 2009 Des Moines Register article here about Mike detailed a history beginning at the age of 4 when he started walking Glendale Cemetery with his grandmother. As he grew, so did his curiosity, and he wondered if, after someone is gone, will anybody remember them? As years went by, Mike continued to walk the rolling hills of Glendale, where 5 generations of his family were buried. His great-great-grandfather served in the Civil War, and his dad served in the military too. Mike knew he could remember them, and he knew he could do more to help remember others. His enthusiasm for history and drive to find untold stories grew into a life of service. Service not just for the city, but for many others throughout the state of Iowa. Rowley was once quoted as saying, "Our veterans and their sacrifices are and will still be remembered." Because he cares, he began finding unmarked veterans' graves and spending numerous hours researching their lives and filling out applications to make sure they get a government marker such as these monuments or headstones. He has done hundreds and hundreds of these. Because he cares, he worked alongside veterans in Glendale Cemetery to help raise over 1,000 flush gravestones of our veterans. Because he cares, on Memorial Day and Veterans Day, Mike can be found honoring those that served, standing at attention in his dress 100% wool Union Army attire. Because he cares, each September, Mike gives his time to work with cemetery volunteers and honorably retire flags in the USS Zinti flag burner you see here that his group made and donated. And each December, because Mike Rowley cares, he can be found out in the cold at Wreaths Across America, a national wreath-laying event that he helped bring to Des Moines 15 years ago. He's quoted as saying, "With these wreaths, we honor the memory of our fallen heroes. May they rest assured that their legacy is in good hands. We know their legacy is in good hands because Mike Rowley cares. Because he cares, he sat on our cemetery advisory committee for 6 years, has been involved with flag decoration, tour research, the Woodland Cemetery History Quest, and has still found time to chair the Woodland 175th Committee and help with the writing of the Woodland Cemetery book that will be out soon. All because Mike Rowley cares. Mike writes newspaper and magazine articles and shoots educational videos about our cemeteries and the stories buried within. He's probably been published more than any other volunteer we have honored throughout the years. Mike has written about the forgotten histories of Black soldiers in Iowa cemeteries. And with his help and encouragement, the untold stories of historically underrepresented people have come alive. Because he cares, he spent countless hours researching forgotten nurses of the Civil War, and working with others in our community, they were able to hold a memorial to remember their service and heroic volunteerism. Because he cares, the stories he has uncovered and helped preserve will keep generations connected through time. Mike, we want you to know because we care and we deeply appreciate your life of service helping Des Moines Parks and Recreation, we want to honor you tonight. Thank you for all you have shared with us and with our community. Your interviews, guest columns, and writings were filled with a few lessons that I think sum up your legacy. There are many ways to donate. Perhaps the most valuable of these is with your time. Thank you, Mike, for giving us yours. It's been an incredible gift. We must continue to preserve and share the history of all Iowans. Thank you, Mike, for recognizing, celebrating, and lifting up all voices in our community. The world needs more Mikes. We are often shaped by not only our own past, but of those others in our lives. And thank you, Mike, for finding these stories that have shaped our community. The stones can only give a glimpse of the individuals they honor. The research and stories found to document them are fascinating. These examples of service, sacrifice, stories, and lessons exist in nearly every city and rural cemetery in Iowa and are just waiting to be rediscovered and shared with future generations. Thank you, Mike, for helping us remember the sacrifice and service. Find and freely share your passions and abilities with the community. Things only happen because of dedicated efforts of a select group of organizers, supporters willing to share their talents. Thank you, Mike, for sharing yours with us. And lastly, these two Mike Rowley words of wisdom. Stories not told are often lost. And treat others as you would like to be treated. Don't spend more than you have. Share when you can. Never ask others to do anything you would not do yourself. And inspire more by example than by words. Mike, you have inspired our community with your actions and your words. We hope that you know your story will always be told, will never be lost, and your remarkable legacy will live on. Please join me in celebrating and honoring Mike Rowley with our 2023 Lifetime Achievement Award. Helping present his award this evening are Mayor Connie Bozen and Cemetery Manager Ganesh Ganpat.
Can I ask a favor? Well, I'll just keep it brief, but the 26 stones show up in a semi in the driveway, and my wife looks out, doesn't say anything other than, your car can sit outside. So if I could have them join me after I do the drive. This is my wife, Mary, my son, Tim, my grandson, Isaac, and my other son, David. Thank you very much.
Make sure we get Isaac a volunteer form.
World needs more mice. It does. She did that. In the practice one, it was pretty funny.
Before we end this evening, I want to give a special shout out to the volunteer engagement team, Rachel, Holly, and Katie. Without their help, this evening's awards would not be possible. I'm incredibly blessed to work in a fun, supportive group, and we're only able to engage our community to this level because we have an incredibly passionate Parks and Recreation team. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you also to Director Ben Page and Assistant Director Jenny Richmond, who's around here somewhere. Also, a shout out to Executive Assistant Rebecca Linhart, who keeps us all together, for her help tonight and throughout the year, and Allie from our communications team for video assistance, and David for working the cameras this evening. Mayor Bozen, City Manager Sanders, council members, Chair Woodard, members of the Parks and Recreation Board, and honorees, thank you for your volunteer service and your continued support of our city and department. And I cannot say it enough, our volunteers continue to be the heart of our community, connecting us together through their service and sharing their diverse skills and talents each day. Once again, we thank each of you and all of our award winners and all of our volunteers that aren't here this evening. We will leave you tonight with highlights from the past year here in a few minutes, and we look forward to an amazing 2024. Katie, if you could hit the lights. We're going to switch over here. Sorry, technical difficulties.
Rachel can sing.
Let's try that again. That concludes this evening's awards. If you'd like to head out to grab cookies in your bag. Oh, Bingo has
Just
one
one
thing to
quick
say.
moment. I want to put our new mayor on the spot. I didn't ask her this ahead of time, but Mayor, if you'd like to say anything about volunteers, we'd like to give you the moment. And as you wake your way up, I did forget to thank one more person. I do want to thank our chief of police. He's at all of our events. He volunteers every time we call him, and we call him a lot. Trust me, he knows it. So when Mike Gall or Janice Steele or I call for assistance, he's always there for us. So Chief, thanks for all you do for us.
Seems weird to be talking this way when I should be talking this way. We can't thank I'm gonna stand this way. We can't thank you enough. You are what make this department, we say it's the favorite department, it's the feel-good department, but without volunteers and all the work and the dedication, you hear these stories. We are so very blessed to have such talented people in our community that care about it. And I was just at a seminar where they talked about people, one of the biggest things people are facing is loneliness, and more people should volunteer because you create great friendships, the longevity for many of you and the dedication. We cannot thank you enough for what you've done. And Ben, maybe we better talk to Scott because, and the rest of council, I don't think it's going to double your budget. But again, on behalf of all of our council and everyone else in the city, thank you so much for everything you've done for us and for our community to make it the best that it can be. Thank you.
All right, so please grab a cookie on the way out. It's one of the few times I don't have to use the low bid systems. We got nice cookies. And I also want to make sure you join the Friends in the second annual event at the Northwestern Hotel off of East Walnut. Please all go. It's a wonderful way to get to know each other all better. Maybe you'll find other ways to volunteer with us too. So please have a fun night. With that, the board gets to go back to work while the rest of them go have a cookie. So. Board members, if you want to take 2 minutes and go get a cookie and come back while everybody's leaving, help yourself real quick. Otherwise, there'll be some left over too.
3 minutes.
We get these guys paid by the hour here, so.
You want me to bring cookies in?
There you go. I'll take a cookie over there.
That's right. Congratulations. Well. What's up, brother?
Thanks, Allie. Good. They didn't get one at the end, but I'm good. Thank you. Other than that, you're all good. You're still good. Thank you for coming out tonight. Oh, yeah, Dave. Great job. So impressed. Thank you for coming.
Okay, and with that, we're going to return to our meeting agenda. And next up, we have approval of the minutes. Can I get all in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes. First up for board action, we have golf committee appointments. Jenny, are you doing that? Or if you have questions?
Questions would be fine.
Any questions? If you read your board packet, we're doing golf committee assignments. And are there any questions from the board? Any questions from the board? I don't think we have anyone else from the public here at this point, so that I will entertain. We've got
You
the
get one
motion.
back
We have a first.
Pam
We
back
have
there.
Pam here. Hi, Pam. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Rebecca, will you call, any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the roll, please, Rebecca.
Woodard,
Yes.
Avila,
Yes.
Pollard, Bremner,
Yes.
Chido,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Approve.
Lohmeyer, Millis.
Yes.
Potter, Thompson, Bill May.
The motion is approved. Next up is the subcommittee appointments, which you also received an email from me. So just to reiterate, if anyone has an interest in serving down the road on one of the committees, please let Jenny, let Ben, let myself know, and you'll get added to a wait list. But Jenny put in a lot of work to get all of these committee appointments synced up. And so Jenny, thank you for your work. I would ask the board if there are any questions. Ben, yeah.
Just a quick comment. If you ever wanted to try it before you buy it, just let us know. You can actually attend any of these meetings as a board member, or you just want to check out what's going on, and so let us know. We'll get you the times and the dates. Rebecca can help you, I can help you, and Jenny can help you. So if you've ever wanted to see what's going on there, this is very much easy. We'll get you on.
Thank you. Good reminder. Any questions from the board? Any from the public? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion. Rebecca, will you call the roll?
Woodard,
Yes.
Avila,
Yes.
Pollard, Bremner,
Yes.
Chido,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Approve.
Lohmeyer, Millis,
Yes.
Potter, Thompson, Bill May.
The motion is passes, and thanks to those who served. I know it's an extra meeting a month, sometimes more work, sometimes less, but thanks also to the staff who coordinate these. It's having served on the Urban Conservation Committee, it was always a fun way to get to know some of the park programs and even more in depth. So, all right, we're moving on to our receive and file. Ben, do you want to go over our fee waiver report?
Yeah, this is just, I believe, good government. It's a clarity, it's a transparency item. We do this every year if you're a new board member. the city manager and the city council does give the director authority to waive fees with the idea that at the end of the year for the calendar year of 2023, I would come to you in January with what was waived. That way, if you saw something that you maybe didn't agree with or wanted more information on, I could answer that. So as you can see, we've rebounded nicely from those pandemic days when we didn't have a whole lot going on. And the whole idea of this is just to get more positive activity in our parks and in our facilities.
Thank you, Ben. Are there questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes. Next up is our director report.
Just wanted to let you know that you have an email from Rebecca on the annual report, so you'll see that in your inbox. We would like, if you could, to give us any corrections, errors, or any comments you have before next Wednesday. That will help us then go to print. We can get all the final corrections done. And then by your February meeting, you'll have a hard copy, but maybe even before February's meeting, we'll get you a final electronic copy. Again, is please share this, whether you're in a neighborhood association, at your work. We'd like to share this far and wide because the impact is so great. Just like the last hour we spent with our volunteers. Believe it or not, I still go places and people say, I didn't know you did that, right? And so the less we hear that, the better. The more we can advertise and market all the great things happening, the more volunteers, the more funding that comes with the department, and just the more accolades that we can keep bringing to keep us vibrant.
Thank you, Ben. Are there any questions for Ben? Seeing none, we'll do our quick round of board and committee updates before hopefully y'all will be able to join the Friends group at the social. And I know everyone wants to get out of here and things in between a drink, right? Urban Conservation Committee, Brooke, Barb, any updates?
Sure. We met last week, and it was a great meeting. We had a presentation from Aaron Graves about Beaverdale, the woodland environment, and the enhancements there. It's a 25-acre park with about 5 that is usable, and so he walked us through the decisions that are being made and why, and that was very interesting. It's a lot of removal of invasives to open up the understory, and there will be some more open sight lines and more access for folks. Also discuss some of the Ewing Park, some of the same kind of endeavors there to encourage the prairies and work. The invasives are just so frustrating, I think, on some of these projects. But it was a great committee meeting, and we'll meet again in March.
Thank you. Next up is the Golf Advisory Committee. Brent, any updates?
Nothing to report other than we meet next on February 15th at Grandview.
So we'll ask again in February. Excellent. Cemetery Advisory Committee. Joel, is this your last update?
This is my last update, and I have nothing to report because we did not have a December meeting.
Oh.
We just thanked hundreds of the volunteers, and everybody that's registered in the cemetery is still there.
It's a great update. You, Joel. And last up, Jim, Sarah, anything on Trails and Greenways Committee? Also last up, Dave, right?
Well, you have an update? Ben has an update.
I want to thank Glenna. She's been wading through multiple departments' legal priorities, right? And as you might guess, we have a lot of donation contracts for the Right Cart Rec Center and just top priority things that have to go with construction projects. So this finally made it to the top of the list where she was able to give us the path. It will take a board action. So Daniel and the team will work on a communication because it's an agreement with Polk County. And so we'll eventually go through our steps to get all the different groups, starting with you and Polk County Conservation, to dissolve this officially. That way we have a paper track and we can make sure everybody's all on the same page. So look for some spring actions if we can get all that put together in time. That'll officially dissolve the tag group. Glenna, did I make any mistakes? Great.
Excellent. All right. Not yet. All right. Thanks, everyone. Is there anything else to come before the board? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Second? All right. We're adjourned.